Applications of HSAB principle. So let's see what are applications of HSAB principle. Now here, so there are numerous applications of HSAB principle. So by using this HSAB principle, we can easily understand the organic reaction mechanisms, metal ligand interactions in metal complexes, ore processing in metallurgy, and precipitations in qualitative analysis, so etc. So by using this HSAB principle, we can easily understand the type of reaction which is present in the organic reaction and also inorganic reactions. And also we can understand or we can say what type of metal ligand interactions or metal ligand bonds should be present in a metal complexes. And also the ores, type of ores. So different type of ores are available in the earth. So then we can easily estimate uh, the elements that are combined with the which type of other elements. So by using this HSAB principle, we can say the type of ores must be stable. And also by using this HSAB principle, we can easily say the precipitation reactions are it is very much useful in the qualitative analysis. The first one that is in a hydrogen bonding. In hydrogen bonding, now let's see. The strong hydrogen bonding is possible in case of H2O, ammonia, and hydrogen fluoride. So when you see the hydrogen bond in the H2O, ammonia, and HSF, so that hydrogen bond is very strong. So because the donor atoms in these molecules like fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen, or hard Lewis bases, and their interaction with the partially positively charged hydrogen, so which is a hard acids. So yes, according to HSAB principle, yes, we know that hard interactions are more strong. That means more stable. That means what is the HSAB principle? So hard acids combines with the hard bases. Then only it will give the a stable compound or a strong compounds. So that is why. So in this, the hydrogen bonding which is formed in between in these molecules like water, ammonia, HSF. So this hydrogen bond is very strong when you compare with the other compounds. So here it is the fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen, the atoms which are present in these three molecules, so that are partially bonding with the hydrogen. Yes, we know that what is the type of this fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen atoms. So these atoms are hard Lewis bases, hard bases. So hard, always a hard base, always combines with the hard acids. So here, what is the hard acid? So there is H plus ion. So by using the HSAB principle, then we can easily say that the which hydrogen bonding is very strong in different compounds. The next one, that is linkage of ambident ligands to metal atoms. So ambident ligands. So ambidextrous ligands means, so it is a ligand which is capable to form bonds with the metal ion with two different type of atoms within it. So that type of ligand is known as ambidextrous ligand. So by using the HSAB principle, then we can easily say that which atom of the ligand that must be bonding with the metal ion in a metal complexes. So for example, if you see this one, the best example for the one of the best example for the ambidextrous ligand is thiocyanate, that is SCN minus. So in these thiocyanates, there are two linkage atoms are there. That means the donor atoms are there. What are they? One is sulfur, another one is nitrogen. So when the sulfur will be bonding with the metal ion, or when the nitrogen will be bonding with the metal ion. So that should be, we can easily estimate by using this HSAB principle. Now here in this ambidextrous ligand here, the S, that means the S, that means sulfur bonded to the metal and referred to a thiocyanate. If the nitrogen bonding with the metal ion, so that is known as isothiocyanate. So this is the ambidextrous ligand, that is SCN minus. If the sulfur of this ligand bonding with the metal ion, so that is known as Cl. This is known as a thiocyanate. If the nitrogen, see this, if the nitrogen bonding with the metal ion, so that ligand is known as isocyanate. Let's see when they should be happen. Now here, yes, we know that the sulfur, see this one, the sulfur is comparatively soft base than the nitrogen atom, which means nitrogen will have a hard when you compare with the sulfur. The hardness of the nitrogen will be more when you compare with the sulfur. So that is why N, it is greater than S. N is a hard one and sulfur is, it is a soft one. So by using this phenomenon, you can easily say that which donating atom will be bonding with the metal ion. If the metal ion, it is a hard one, it is just look like to bonding with the nitrogen. If the metal ion will be soft one, if it is a soft one, then the metal ion, it is looking like to bonding with the sulfur. So this way you can easily estimate the bonding present in between the metal ions in a metal complexes. See here, there are some examples here. Thiocyanate, so bond through the sulfur atom. In this case, through the sulfur atom, because sulfur is a soft base. When the bonded with the platinum, platinum it is a soft acids. So when the platinum combines with this ambidextrous ligand, which atom it is bonding with the platinum? So here it is the sulfur, because sulfur is a soft base. So that is why the sulfur atom can be bonding with the platinum ion, because platinum ion is a soft acid. Now coming to the second example, if the chromium, if you take the chromium it is a hard acids. Then what happen when this chromium ion bonding with the thiocyanate? So in this ligand, which atom it is bonding with the chromium ion? Yes, we know that nitrogen atom. Nitrogen atom bonding with the, or linked with the chromium ion, because nitrogen it is a hard base. Chromium is a hard acid. So that is why the bond is present in between the nitrogen and chromium. So like that, here also the iron plus ferrous ion reacts with the thiocyanate. So it will give this type of compound, that is bright red compound. So if the chromium, see this one, if the chromium combines with the reacts with the thiocyanate, it will give this type of compound. because here it is see this one, iron it is a borderline acid, so it will react with the either soft base or hard base. So remember this one. So that is why iron ion reaction with the thiocyanate and it will give this type of compounds. Whereas chromium, it is a hard acid. So that is why it is when this chromium ion reacts with the thiocyanate, the chromium ion linked with the nitrogen atom of the thiocyanate ligand. So remember this. Now next example, if you see, if we observe this example, the molecule which is this one. So in this molecule, the bonding with the BF3 boron trichlor through the N atoms, through the N, where it will bond with the BH3 through the phosphorus. So reason, see this one, boron trichloride is a hard acid. It's always look to bonding with the hard base. So here, what is the hard base? That is nitrogen. Yes, we know that. Nitrogen is one of the hard base. So that is why BF3 boron trichloride linked with the nitrogen atom rather than the phosphorus atom, because phosphorus it is a soft base. Now let's see the boron hydride. Now this boron hydride, it always linked with the phosphorus atom. It will not link with the nitrogen, because boron hydride it is a soft acid. It is always preferred to bond with the soft base. So that is why phosphorus it is a soft base. So in this way, you can easily estimate the bond, the type of bond which is present in between the molecules or atoms. So always remember that one, according to HSLB rule, hard prefers a hard one, soft prefers a soft one. So remember this one. So next application, so that is symbiotic effect. Symbiotic effect means, see this one, the hard soft characters of the metal ion altered by the other group attached. So it is referred to as a symbiotic effect. That means the hard soft character of a metal ion, which is the metal ion which is present in any complex. So that the character of the hard soft of a metal ion, it will depending upon the surrounded ligands, so which are bonding with the metal ion. So that phenomenon, it is known as symbiotic effect. So always remember one, what is that? The hard soft character of the metal ion, that is depending upon the ligands which are surrounded within it. So that phenomenon is known as symbiotic effect. For example, if you see this one, so this is a complex, so there is cobalt complex. Here the cobalt complex bonding with the 5 ammonia ligands and one is thiocyanate ligands. Now here cobalt ion is a hard acid, so that is why the cobalt ion is a hard acid, so that is why it is preferred to bonding with the hard one in this ligand. See this one. So in this ligand, so this is a amidinic ligand, so that is why what are the donating atoms in this ligand? That is a nitrogen and also sulfur. So because of cobalt ion is a hard one, so it always prefer to bonding with the nitrogen in this ligand. In this ligand, see this one. Then we can see the bonding between the cobalt and nitrogen. However, see this one. If you observe this type of example, see this one. If the cobalt surrounding with the 5, it is surrounding with the 5 cyanides atoms, cyanides ligands. The cobalt ion, the metal ion surrounding with the 5 cyanides and 1 isocyanates. So in this case, what happened? Let's see. So here the surrounded ligands, that means 5 cyanides ions are there. What is the character of the cyanides? Here the cyanides are the soft bases. The cyanides are soft bases. the metal ion which is bonding with the ligands. So the ligand, the behavior of the ligands are soft bases. Due to presence of these pi, that means more number of soft bases that influence the hard soft character of the cobalt ion. Then automatically what happens? The hardness of the cobalt ion will be decreases due to presence of this pi soft bases presence in a metal complexes. Automatically, the cobalt ion in this complex will act as a soft one. It is a soft acid. So remember this one, due to presence of the ammonia. Ammonia, it is nothing but it is a hard one. So that is why the cobalt will act as a hard acid. So, but in this complex, see this one. In this complex, the surrounded ligands will influence on the character of the cobalt ion, the odd soft character of the cobalt ion. So due to presence of this more number of soft bases, the cobalt ion, the hardness of the cobalt ion will be decreases and it will act as a soft. It will act as a soft acid in this complex. So in that case, the cobalt ion is always prefer to bonding with the soft one, soft base. Which one? So this one. This is the ambient ligand. So two donor atoms are there. Sulfur. Another one is nitrogen. Nitrogen having the some hardness when you compare with the sulfur. Sulfur, it is the soft one. Nitrogen is a hard one. Then which atom will be linked with the cobalt ion? So here in this ligand, so cobalt, it is a soft one. Why? Due to presence of pi soft bases. Automatically the cobalt ion will act as a soft one. The soft prefers to soft. So that is why cobalt will link with the sulfur atom which is present in this ligand. So this phenomenon is known as symbiotic effect. The next one, predict the directions of inorganic reactions. So by using the HSAB principle, you can easily estimate the inorganic reactions between the two compounds. So for example, if you see this one, the reaction between the arsenic trifluoride and phosphorus triiodide. Now here, the AsF3 and PI3. When you observe this compound, that is arsenic trifluoride, this is arsenic, it is the soft one, and fluorine, whereas the fluorine, it is somewhat hard when you compare it with the iodine. See this one. There are two compounds, but different type of. If you want to do the reaction in between these two complexes, then which type of compounds will produce? So that we are going to see in this example. If you see these two examples, we are comparing only these two examples. Okay, remember this one. So here, two cations, two anions are there. What are the cations? So arsenic and also phosphorus. So arsenic is arsenic. It is a softer than the phosphorus. Since arsenic, it is softer than phosphorus. And what are the anions? So here, fluoride and also iodine. Two ligands are there. That means two anions are there. when you compare with these two, so which one will have the hard, which one will have the soft? Here the iodine, it is softer than the fluorine. That means iodine is soft one, fluorine is hard one. When you compare with these two only, these two only. Okay. Now here what happened? Arsenic is softer than phosphorus. That means arsenic, it is a soft acid. Phosphorus is a hard acid. So according to HSLB rule, what happened? Hard prefers to hard, soft prefers soft. So based on that principle, here if you conduct the reaction in between these two these two compounds, so what are the estimated products? So here, so arsenic, it is the soft one. Soft prefers soft one. What is the soft base? So that is iodine. Iodide is the soft one. That is why arsenic reaction with the iodine, and it will give the arsenic triiodide. See this one. Now here phosphorus, it is a hard one. So hard prefers to hard one. So here chlorine, it is the hard one. So that is why chlorine reaction with the phosphorus reaction with the chlorine, and it will give the this type of compounds. So these are the stable compounds when you compare with this one. So these are the somewhat stable compounds when you compare with these two compounds. That means these are the somewhat unstable when you compare with these two compounds. So this way you can easily predict the directions of the inorganic reactions. So in any inorganic reactions. So let's see another example. So in these two examples, the reaction between the magnesium sulfide and barium oxide, then you can easily estimate the products. Now here, so in this compound magnesium, it is the harder one when you compare it with the barium. Magnesium is the hard one. So this is the hard acids. So barium, it is the soft acids. And also coming to the anions. Anions here, what are the anions? Sulfur and oxygen there. So here, oxygen, it is harder than sulfur. So that is why sulfur, it is the soft one. Oxygen, it is the hard one. So according to HSAB rule, so what are the products? Hard prefers to hard. Which one? Here the hard acids, so that is magnesium combines with the oxygen, and it will give the magnesium oxide. And barium, that is soft one, prefers to bonding with the soft base. So here what is the soft base? Sulfur. So that is why barium combines with the sulfide ion, and it will give the barium sulfide. So these two compounds are stable when you compare with these two. So that is only based on the HSAB rule, you can easily estimate the stability of the compounds or reactions between the any two compounds in inorganic reactions. So here it is another example. So here the reaction between these two compounds, that is P2F4 and PF2 with mercury. I shall see this. Now here in this example, see this one. The P2F4 can be prepared by the treatment of PF2I with mercury. See this one. So in this reaction, what happened? The iodine, so it is the iodine rather than the fluorine that is removed from the. So in this reaction, what happened? If you see this one, if you see this compound, so in this compound, the iodine is removed rather than the fluorine, and it can form the P2F. So this is because of mercury ion, it is the soft one. So that is why it is always preferred to bonding with the soft one. When you, what is the soft base when in this fluoride and iodide? Which one is soft one? Yes, we know that iodide is the soft one when you compare with the fluoride. So fluoride is the hard one. So because this mercury iodide is the soft one, that is why the soft mercury iodide is preferred to bonding with the iodide, and it will give the Hg2I2. So another one, that is solubility in water. You can easily set the solubilities of different type of compounds in water by using the HSAB principle. So here, yes, because of the compounds are formed due to the soft to soft basis combination is a more covalent. The compound which are formed from the soft acids and soft bases, so that are more covalent. So due to this more covalent in nature, so they will not soluble in the water or partially soluble in water. Yes, we know that. For example, see this one, silver iodide. If you see the solubility of the silver iodide, because silver iodide is a more covalent in nature compound, because silver iodide is the soft one, and iodide is also soft one, soft base, soft acids, because it is a strong compound. It is a strong compound, and the bonding nature in this compound, it is a more covalent in nature. So due to that covalent in nature, they will not soluble in water. So in this way, you can easily set the solubilities of the different type of compounds. So by using the HSAB principles. So when you see the hardest, see this one, the hard acids, when the compounds formed by using these hard acids and hard bases, so that are mostly ionic nature. So this type of compounds are easily soluble in water. So remember this. The next example, so that is a type of ores. Yes, we know that the hard metals prefer to binding with the hard ions. Yes, we know that. So in our nature, the available ores are in oxides form, chlorides form, carbonates form, and also silicious in natures. So for example, if you see this one, the aluminum, it is mostly found in nature as a alumina. What is the formula of the alumina? So that is Al2O3. That is oxides form. See. So here it is a hard. The hard prefers to hard. Hard acids reaction with the hard base. So here is a hard base. Hard acids prefers to bonding with the hard bases. So always remember one that hard metals prefer to hard. The hard combinations of ores will available in our nature. So in the form of oxides, fluorides, carbides, and silicates. So this is remember one. So because here is aluminum, when you see this example alumina, in this example alumina is a hard metal which prefers with the combining with the hard oxygen. Yes, we know this. And also another example, the F block elements, all the F block, most of the F block elements are found in the nature in the form of silicate minerals. So that means because the trivalent lanthanides or actinides or the hard acids, the trivalent lanthanides and actinides are the hard acids. So hard acids prefers to bonding with the hard bases. So here this trivalent lanthanides and actinides are preferred to bonding with the odd oxygen or the oxygen. So as in the silicates, and it will the silicate, the oxygen which is present in the silicates. So that oxygen bonding with this trivalent lanthanides and actinides. So remember this, the hard type of ores are available as the oxides, fluorides, carbonates, and silicates. So when the soft The soft to soft, see this one. The soft metals prefer to bond with the soft ions. If you see the another type of ores, so that is soft to soft preferred to form the ores. That ores are available as a sulfides, phosphides, selenides in nature. So, see the difference, the hard or soft interactions. So here, when the soft to soft interactions, ores are available in the nature, so there is sulfides, phosphides, and selenides. So, for example, the silver copper metals exist as a sulfides. The silver copper metals exist as a sulfides ores because silver and copper are the soft acids. So soft acids always prefers to bonding with the soft bases. So here, what are the soft bases? Sulfides. See this, the sulfides, phosphides, that are the soft bases. So this way you can easily say that which type of ores are formed in a nature by using the HCB principle. So remember, one hard interactions will form this type of ores. Soft to soft interactions ores are available in the form of sulfides, phosphides, and selenides. The next application, so that is precipitation reactions and qualitative analysis. So in this application, the software acids like, see this one, the software acids like the silver, mercury, see this one, the mercury, and etc. And borderline acids. So let's see, borderline acids. So that is nickel, ferrous, cobalt, nickel, and the zinc, and lead, and etc. can be precipitated as a sulfides. See this one, mostly they are sulfides. That means these are the softer acids. So because of the softness of the silver, mercury ions, that are prefers to bonding with the soft bases, so that are mostly in the form of sulfides. So remember, this can be precipitated as the sulfides from the aqueous solution of the sulfide ion. And remaining are, see this one, these are the hard one, the hard calcium, strontium, barium, that are prefers to bonding with the carbonates, and it will give the this type of precipitates. So these are the precipitates of the soft one, these are the precipitates of the hard one. So in this way, you can easily estimate the which type of precipitation, which type of precipitations are possible in between the soft one and hard one. And also, by using the HSAB principle, you can easily estimate the reactions in the qualitative analysis. So these are some important applications of HSAB principle.